Do you want 10 affordable summer fragrances that women would love? Most of these are affordable. Some are very affordable, and I threw like 2 niche in the end. So if you want 10 summer fragrances that women would love, stick around. To me, summer and spring fragrances are interchangeable. I see spring fragrances as more like green scents, whereas summer scents are more fresh, a little bit more fruity. But today I'm gonna give you 10 banging summer fragrances. First one on this list, to be honest with you, I'm not too crazy about, but I know a lot of you guys will love it. And women love to smell this on you. And what makes this a complimented fragrance is that the performance is beast mode. So it's gonna project off you far. So if women smell you, they're gonna compliment you. And the first fragrance is Powers from Versace. Now when this fragrance open up, you're gonna get some apples, you're gonna get some pineapple, you're also gonna get some spice from the cinnamon. Then in the heart of the fragrance, that's when that a very juicy melon note comes to the front. And you're also gonna get some cedar. Now this is a fresh, fruity, spicy aquatic that I think most of you will enjoy. It's not one of my favorite, but women love this fragrance. Now next on the list is coming from the house of Valentino Uomo, and that is Aqua. At the top of this, you're gonna get some mandarin, but the main player in this fragrance is that tomato. I don't know if some of you are familiar with the essential fragrance that I think was probably produced by Polo. Tomato note is similar to that. So at the top, you're gonna get this mandarin orange, you're gonna get that tomato. Then in the middle of the fragrance, you're gonna get some of the auras. It's not really powdery, but you can smell it. Then in the base, some vanilla comes through that adds some sweetness, and you're also gonna get some musk. Now this is sweet, slightly fresh, and it's a little bit powdery. And that is Valentino Uomo Aqua. Now coming up next is probably one of my favorite from this cheapest list. It's also a clone of Boudicca Victoria's Blue Sapphire. And this is coming from the house of Aerin Amber, and that is Desert Sultan Sapphire. Like I said, this is my favorite from the list because it's more of a grown-up type scent. At the top, you're gonna get some cherry. You're gonna get a little bit of iris. In the heart, you're gonna get some lavender. You're gonna get a little bit of that violet leaf. In the base, you're gonna get some vanilla to add some sweetness. You're gonna get a clean musk, and you're also gonna get some cedar wood. Now this is for dressed up occasion, a little bit more on the mature side. It's sweet, fresh, clean, a little woody, and a little fruity. And that is Sapphire from Aerin Amber. Now coming up next is probably a niche house that you're not too familiar with because it's not talked about a lot. This particular fragrance is made for being very classy, going out late night when the sun set. And that fragrance is coming from the House of Divine Infinity. Now at the top of this, the main note is pepper. So you're gonna get some pepper notes. In the heart, when it transitions, you're gonna get some cedar that adds some sharpness. You're gonna get some vetiver that adds a little earthiness. Then in the base, you're gonna get some benzoin that adds some chocolate sweetness to it. Now this is woody, earthy, almost green, and very spicy. And that's coming from the House of Divine Infinity. Now if you want a similar fragrance to Infinity, but the main focus is more citruses, and that is coming from the house of Hermes, TERRE de Hermes. Now the difference is, Infinity is dry, this is more juicy. And at the top of this, you're gonna get some of that vetiver. You're gonna get an orange note. You're also gonna get some sharpness from cedar. And in the middle of the fragrance, that's when you get that grapefruit that adds some sourness to the fragrance. So it's kind of earthy, kind of sour, but it has some sweetness from that orange. You're also gonna get some of that pepper. Now this is earthy, it's woody, it's citrusy, with a little spiciness. And that coming from the house of Hermes, TERRE de Hermes. Coming up next, this is a fragrance that I like better than Hawa's, which I really don't care about, but like I said, women love it on you. This particular fragrance, the bottle is cheap, the spray is cheap, and everything about it is cheap except the juice. That's coming from the house of Armand El Cilio. Now to me, this is a more classier version of Hawa's, a little bit more smoother, and it also smells a little bit less synthetic. At the top, you're gonna get some melon, you're gonna get some apple. You're also gonna pick up on that lemon that balances all that sweet fruitiness out. Then in the heart, you're gonna get some cypress that makes it a little green. You're also gonna get some lavender. And the base is accompanied by some vanilla, also some amber that adds a tad bit sweetness and a little bit more spices. Now this is a fresh, fruity, sweet aquatic that I think you will enjoy. It's a cheap bargain. I think I paid maybe 30 bucks for it. But if you can get over the cap, you can get over the sprayer, you can get over the cheapness of the presentation, it's one that I think you should add, especially for the price. very nice smelling summer scent you should add to your collection. Coming up next, if you don't like the earthy vetiver of fragrances, then this is one that's not really earthy. It's a very clean vetiver and it's very cheap. I think I probably paid maybe $25 for it. That's coming from the House of Lagerfeld, and that's Bois Wild. At the top of this, you're going to get some vetiver that's very clean, not earthy at all, followed up by some blood orange and some mint. Now in the heart, this is filled with a bunch of ambroxan that's going to push off your skin, so you might think that it's not projecting, but trust me, it's going to push off your skin. A very nice vetiver scent that's not earthy. It's fresh, it's clean, a little bit woody, and that is Bois Wild, a cheapie you should add to your collection. Now coming up next, this is probably a forgotten fragrance, but trust me, this is one of the most complimented fragrances that when you wear it, not only women, but guys will still love this on your skin. It's more of a classy summer scent, and that's coming from the house of Issey Miyake Perron. Now when it's open up, you're going to get that yuzu that's really the star of the show. It's almost bitter, but it's added with some citrus note of orange that adds some sweetness to it. In the heart, you're going to get some cinnamon. In the base, you're going to get some amber. You're going to get some sandalwood. A very classy summer scent that's very gentleman-like. You will get compliments off of this. Now this is a citrus, floral, woody aquatic that will still get you compliments. As a matter of fact, I think this is going to be my scent of the day. And that is Perron from the house of Issey Miyake. Coming up next is from the house of Mancera, and Manceras you can find at discounters probably for cheaper than some designer fragrances, and that's coming from the house of Mancera, and that's Hindu Kush. Now when you first spray this, you're going to get that cannabis note. You're going to get some lapdamon that adds some smokiness to it. Then in the heart, that's when that earthy patchouli starts to transition to the top of the fragrance. Then in the base, you're going to get some of that vanilla that comes through. You're going to get some amber. Now this is smoky, tad bit spicy, a tad bit green with a little earthiness. It's probably a fragrance that once the sun set, you throw this on, you go out and you'll be set. And that is Hindu Kush from the house of Mancera. Last but not least, this is probably coming from my second favorite house, and that is coming from the house of Unwatch, and that is Journeyman. Now the star of the show is this Sichuan pepper. So you're going to get this blast of Sichuan pepper, and you're going to get some cardamom up top that adds some sexiness to the fragrance. In the heart, you're going to pick up on that juniper berry. You're going to pick up on some frankincense that adds some smokiness to it. That is followed up by some tonka, some leather, some tobacco, and some tonka bean that adds a little bit chocolate sweetness to it. Now this fragrance is spicy, woody, and it's smoky. And that's coming from the house of Unwatch, Journeyman. Now if that summer list didn't do it for you, check out this spring list right here. Everybody stay safe, and I will see you soon. Peace.